Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the second episode of work. What did I call it? Diamond Paint the Mystery with me. Yeah, you can see I have it totally together. So last week we started this. This is the diamond painting I got from Rachel Rae. It's a mystery diamond painting. I have no idea what it is. I have asked my boyfriend to straighten out the paper for me. I have cut it blind. I have divided it into sections with a random order of numbers. 28 of them, because this is a 50 by 70, and I thought 28 sections, each of which will be 4 by 5 inch big, would be a good size to work on. And we are going to keep this a mystery until the very end, meaning we are going to work on this one section. You and I both are just going to see that one section, and afterwards I am going to tape the paper back on and won't pull it up again until the thing is done. And to show you, this was the section we worked on last week. This is the kinesiology tape I was talking about. This is actually the super ugly animal print version my boyfriend got in some kind of kit he bought, I think at Aldi, and which even he didn't use. He tapes his own knee when he goes to play handball, and he used the zebra, and he uses pink. He is totally firm enough in his manhood that he uses pink, but he did not use the leopard print. That went a step too far. So I have been using this for diamond painting since I started, because this tape actually sticks to the cover paper well enough that you can hold it down. Of course, if you pull at it, it will let go. So it's not for eternity, but it should be good enough to hold this down until the whole thing is done, and we can reveal this together. So today is section 2, which is pretty much on the direct opposite side of section 1. So that should be good. And let's hope I cut this well enough that the paper actually comes up, because I of course also haven't tested that. And it looks good. Looks good. It's a bit stuck there. Okay. So we're going to have to work sideways on this today. And today is not just blue. Last time we had a lot of blues, but this time we have quite a few other colors. So let's see. So I'm going to work on this, and I'm trying to keep this under an hour. So that means that probably a portion of this will be sped up again as a time lapse. I just don't have enough to talk about to do the whole section. I also don't know if I have enough time. So let's just do it that way. So thank you for your comments on the first episode. I asked you for suggestions, what I could talk about in these things, and I actually got a couple of questions which I'm going to answer here. And one person actually gave me a very broad suggestion, so I'm probably going to have a lot to talk about. A warning for next week, I think I'm going to prepare a movie WiP Chat. I had threatened you with that a while ago, if you remember, if you have been with me long enough. So let's see, first color is 152. So the first question I got was very easy. One of my new viewers, hello, welcome, I hope you enjoyed here, asked me where in Germany I am from. So I was born close to Frankfurt. I think pretty much everyone knows where that is. I am actually going to put up a map to show you, because Germany is not very big, but still would like to give you a picture of where I was born, where I used to live, and where I'm living now. So I was born in a small town close to Frankfurt. This town was called Rüsselsheim, and no, please don't try to pronounce it. I'm absolutely not challenging you to do that. And you can find that little town here. So, it's about a 60,000 people place. And my parents are not from there. So my father was actually born close to a city called Hanover, which is here. And my mother was born in a super small village, in a very rural part of Germany, which was here. And I think my dad moved there when he was still a little kid, and they met when he was back home after his divorce from his first wife. They met at a fair there, and my mom was just 17, full disclosure. My dad was 30. Please don't judge. I know it's a big age difference, and it works for whatever reason. It works. Has worked for the last 38 years, so there has to be something. Yeah, they have been together for a few years before my father got a job in that town I was born in, and she went with him. So, I guess, story old as time, right? My boyfriend has moved for me quite a few times. So yeah, I was born there, I was raised there, I lived there until I was 22 and a half. And then I moved to Cologne, which I think is also one of the better known cities in Germany, which can be found here. And I lived there for about 4 years. I moved because of the job, got a job offer, so I had to choose between a temporary placement, which would probably be extended after 1 year, but no one could promise me, or a permanent placement if I moved. So I chose permanent and I moved. We stayed there for about 4 years and it never clicked. The people there are very nice, but they are also very superficial. And I just never really gelled with them. So I was not sad to move back home after 4 years. It was a bit of a necessity because while I could live there without problems, even though I did never click with the people, for my boyfriend it was super hard. I didn't know it back then, but he had been struggling with depression since he was 18. That was actually before we even knew each other. And his depression really hit full force while we were living there because he never managed to form any kind of bond with anyone, I think. He also didn't try. I encouraged him, but he never really tried. And yeah, that spiraled down very quickly. So that was actually the height of his depression and something we had to deal with for many years after. But at least it finally came out and he finally got treatment, which is a whole other story, honestly, and one of the biggest beefs I have with my in-laws. Or my not quite in-laws, because as I've said, he's still my boyfriend, not my husband, but I still call his sister and his parents my in-laws, because we've been together for nearly 20 years. So we moved back after nearly exactly 4 years. And we moved back home, so he was closer to his family. And mine had moved by then. They had moved back to where my mother used to live, and that's where they still live. So yeah, it was mainly to get him back close to his family, which later turned out to be something he was glad was only temporary. Nearly exactly 4 years later, my then employer decided it would be a good idea to ask me to move again for the job. So I did. And we moved to where we are living now, which is in a small town close to Stuttgart, which can be found here. And that's where we have been now for 8 years, and we love it here. We never clicked with the Cologne people. We clicked very hard with the people down here in Stuttgart, which is a very special brand, I have to say. But I just like them. They are the kind of grumpy I can get behind. So yeah, this is, I guess you Americans are probably familiar with this region because this is actually still the south of Germany. So Frankfurt is counted to the south, well, northern border of the south, I guess. And all of the south used to be, after the war, American, the American sector of Germany. This is where all your air bases and marine bases and whatever bases are. Actually, the town I work in, which is 10 kilometers from here, is where the marine headquarter of Europe, I think, of all Europe is. So we have a lot of military personnel here still to this day. Since 9/11, they have kept to themselves. So in the past, there were actually days where the regular Germans could come and visit the base, and it was kind of an open door day. And yeah, that has mostly shut down now. They are not doing it any longer, which is a bit sad because the mingling between, the natives and the Americans was always a good thing, and that has basically died down after 9/11. But maybe one day we will get there again. It would actually be nice to have a bit more contact with the people from the US than is currently normal here. You sometimes meet them in your everyday life in the supermarket or at the dentist. The dentist I used to go to was one who was specialized to treat Americans there as well. All their employees spoke pretty good English, which is still not normal. Oh, I'm sorry. So, interesting question was typical German food. Because last week, hi Lola, last week I actually spoke to Rachel. I think it was Wednesday when I told her, oh God, we are going full German today. Wednesday is the day the boyfriend cooks, and he came home with Schnitzel, which is as typically German and Austrian as it gets, but we don't do that very often. But he just didn't come home with Schnitzel. He also brought something else which is considered typical German and which what we don't eat very often, which would be sauerkraut. So yeah, last Wednesday we went full German. We had Schnitzel and sauerkraut. And what a combination that was. I don't need that ever again, I think. So what we usually eat, I think, is a pretty mishmash of all types of things. What we, particularly my boyfriend, I don't do is what is considered typical German kitchen, because that is usually pretty heavy, very time consuming as well. So that's usually not what we do. I like quicker things, so I cook a lot Italian-inspired stuff. Very boring, very, very boring. But if you ever come into Germany and come to the region I am living in, we have a few things you probably should try. I mean, we are pretty much together with Bavaria, we are Brezel country, or like we pronounce it, Brezel. So you can get sandwiches made out of pretzels here, and you can get pretzels that are made with cheese on top, and you can, baked cheese. And you can get sweet pretzels in any shape or form, especially if you come in during Christmas season and visit one of the Christmas markets. If you are a fan of that. And then, of course, we have the same type of dough. Pretzels are made of, put in shape of rolls and of short baguettes and stuff like that. There are croissants made that way. So not with the dough. That's, of course, still the typical puff pastry that is used for croissants, but they are coated in that stuff that makes the pretzels dark brown and salty. So the lie. You can get that here. Which one do I have here? H. So yeah, that is something typical German. If you are in this particular region, there is something else which is called Maultaschen. That's a pasta dish. There is an old name for it, which basically translates to cheating, because it's said that the monks back in the day invented Maultaschen during the is it fasting? When they are not allowed to eat between Carnival and Easter. When they are not allowed to eat meat, so they invented that, hiding the meat inside of the pasta, so they are cheating God. So that is pretty good. You should try that if you are here. They are made in many different types. Me personally, I prefer the one with a little meat and a lot of spinach. They are pretty good. What else is typical for my region here? Let me think of that. Spätzle, which is also a pasta. I'm going to try and remember to put in pictures so I know what I'm talking about. So this is actually a scraped pasta. The dough for it is, compared to regular pasta dough, is pretty liquid. And you put it on a wooden board and you scrape it off into the hot water. Or there are also It looks like a garlic press in giant. You could put the dough through there as well. Me personally, I prefer the scraping because then you get sometimes very, very big Spätzle, which every Swabian housewife would tell you is an atrocity. I personally love them. Yeah, that is very good. You can get them anywhere here. But I think these days German cuisine actually isn't so different from others anymore. I mean, there are still regions which are very traditional, but I think most people have by now discovered that the heavy stuff we used to eat is not the best. So we at least don't do. So, which brings up my question right now. What are we going to eat for dinner tonight? I have no idea. I'm going to have to wind down very soon, and I'm not at all done. But I'm going to finish the rest and put it in as a time-lapse as always. And I might have to do that tomorrow. I don't know yet. I have to check how late it is. Yeah. What else can I tell you? I actually don't know. This is the problem with the weekly WiP Chats. I already have an issue talking for an hour, but doing it every week. This is going to be hard, people. This is going to be so hard. Even the cat finds us uninteresting. She has left us again. That was a very short visit. She's actually taking a potty break. Yeah, I know, TMI. Oh yeah, she has been... I think I mentioned that in my Flosstube video, but probably not every one of you is watching this. She has been sick. I discovered last week, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday evening, that she had peed in the shower. And it was actually bloody. And she desperately was trying to pee. I instantly thought, I think she has a bladder infection, and we believe I was right. So we went to the vet on Thursday, because of course this happened at 7:30 at night. It's usually not bad enough that you have to go to the pet emergency services with that. So I waited for the next day. I made an appointment, and that cut me off. Wonderful. So I have had to watch back where it cut me off. It was when I was telling you that I made the appointment with our vet. So we went on Thursday. I described her symptoms. We got a couple of meds for her. So she got pain medication. She got antibiotics, and yeah, she has been on them since Thursday, and she's doing much better. I think we are done with the antibiotics by... I think there's 3 more left, or 4. Should be 4, and then we are done. We have stopped giving her the pain meds yesterday. So yeah, she's all better now. She's not desperately trying to pee everywhere and anywhere anymore. Yeah. So I feel for her, because I know what a bladder infection actually feels like. I've had those since I was 18, on a more or less regular basis. So not fun at all. Poor kitty. But seeing her at the vet is always so funny. We had to wait for about an hour this time, even though we had the appointment, and there were just dogs in the waiting room. And my cat doesn't know dogs. This is a cat-only household. We don't have any neighbors who have dogs. So they have not had any contact with dogs at all. And she was so, what is going on here, when we had to wait in the living room because all the dogs, of course, wanted to inspect the kitty, and she was sitting in her carrier and was all, "Meow, leave me alone." I actually met a Luna there. I think she was some type of collie mix as well. She didn't look like Rachel's Luna at all, but she had certain markers of collie. And she was a very friendly dog. According to her owner, she was also a very friendly dog towards cats, but Lola was having none of that. So yeah. I guess it's a good thing if you get into the vet's office and they greet you with a, well, you are a very scarce guest here, because we don't have to go in at all, really, aside from their regular shots. So I've been very lucky with my cats, to be honest. They have never been sick with anything. Both of them had surgery for their teeth, and both of them, of course, had surgery when we got them fixed, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, fingers crossed that it stays that way. We have been very lucky indeed. So she's feeling better now, and that's a good thing, because quite honestly, whenever the cat is not well, I am a mess. I'm really a mess. It's just not sitting all that well with me. So we are now at roughly 50 minutes. So let's go for 5 more, and then I'm going to do the rest as a time lapse to keep that at about an hour or so. I don't really want to go over because I have to edit this, and this takes a lot of time to upload as well if the videos are so long, and I already had one very long video this week. So plan moving forward, I think I'm going to do for next week, I'm going to do the first talking about movie. Sorry. Sorry, that wanted out badly. That was Lola taking her revenge for me, making her take the meds. The first movie episode of this WiP Chat, as you might or might not remember, in one of my WiP Chat last year, I spoke about this 100 top movie poster I got, and how I wanted to basically talk about a few of those movies I had already watched. I have to admit, I have been very bad about trying to find and see the movies on that list recently. I have spent most of my time crafting, and usually I don't like to watch movies I have never seen before while I diamond paint or basically craft at all, because then I will, most of the time I will just listen and not watch. And I can do that with movies I know well. Because I'm the type of person who rewatches movies all the time, especially the favorite ones. So I think I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to pick maybe 5, and I'm going to look up what the reason is that they are on the list, and then I'm going to talk about if I liked them, didn't like them, if I was able to see why they were on the list, because to be honest, there are quite a few I have seen where I don't get why they would be considered one of the greatest movies of all time, and there are a few where I can understand it, even though I think they aged so badly it's actually cringeworthy. And yeah, then there are a few I like without understanding what they did that was so major. So yeah, I would like to get through that, and I'm going to try to make it a mix of things I liked and disliked, because there's plenty of both on the list. So I think that's going to be the plan for next week. And please, if you have more questions, if you're interested in certain stuff, have them coming. I'm going to make a list. I'm going to get through them. I will talk more about specific German stuff too. I've just touched the surface, really. I mean, I don't consider myself the most German of Germans, to be honest. I actually had a coworker. He is English, and he told me, you are sometimes much closer to an English person than a German person, in my opinion. I thought, oh well, I take that as a compliment, especially as far as humor goes, because there is a certain opinion out there that Germans don't have any humor. So, which is weird. It's really weird to me. I can understand where that is coming from sometimes, but not generally. I think generally we are actually a pretty funny bunch. And not just funny laughing at us, but with us as well. So that is what I thought I could do for future WiP Chats, to actually talk about something that is hopefully not completely uninteresting. Also, if you have anything, I don't know, if you have any idea, just let me know. I will consider it. And I'm actually thankful for your help in this, because as you might have noticed, talking to myself, not that easy. Especially if you have a pretty uneventful life like I do. And I like it that way, don't get me wrong. Every time things get eventful, it's usually the bad eventful. So I'm quite content with things being boring. All right. So I think that's where I'm going to stop with the talking. I am going to finish the rest of the section and put it in as a time lapse, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you. Or would you prefer, let me know for future videos, would you prefer me saying goodbye before the time lapse, so you can just skip that part? I mean, you can skip it anyway. No one is forcing you to sit through probably 2 to 3 minutes of time lapse just to hear me say goodbye. So just let me know how you would prefer that to go, the format of this, because I'm totally up to adjusting this a little bit. I'm still experimenting with this, so no hard feelings for anything, honestly. Okay, so I'm going to put this on super speed now, and I will say goodbye to you in a moment. Okay, there you have it. That is the section we finished today, section 2. So next week we will actually do this section here. But by the time I will have forgotten what this one looked like. So that's the beauty of doing it this way. I am now going to take a picture and then I am going to tape that up again. And the picture is solely for the intro graphic to this video. Yeah, I have no clue whatsoever what this is. No idea. I like the colors. So doing it this way really is fun. Alright guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm sorry this was a bit disjointed, I think. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a thumbs up. Like I said, if you have any questions, any suggestions, please leave me a comment down below. I'm going to talk about it in one of the future WiP Chats. Can't promise you, it for sure won't be the next one because I'm going to do the movie thing. Can't promise you when it will be, but it will happen at some time. And also, if you would like to tell me something that you might maybe have heard about Germany, about Germans, about anything we do here, and you would like to get my take on it, or would like to know if this is actually true or completely false, ask me. I'm happy to reply to that, and maybe you will discover another Christmas pickle in there. Alright, you know what to do down below, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye guys!